All right, shalom. And give all praises to Yahweh Basham Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the elders. And peace and blessing to the elect brothers out there teaching His word. Um, I was just thinking about the scriptures and things that's going on in the world today, and just meditating on you know basically prophecies. Um, and thinking about uh, the kingdom and how close we are to getting up out of here, out of America, out of Babylon, or wherever you elect are at on this planet. We're in a time of we're in a time of great things happening on the earth, man. We're in a time of although it's wars going on, although there's you know, although we out here catching hell and we got trouble ahead, that's really a wonderful thing. It's really good for us, and you know, we're in a time of prophecies coming to pass. And one of the main prophecies, or one of the prophecies that I was thinking about was basically how different nations and different wars and things are being spread across the earth on a large global scale. You know, so I'm gonna read this first scripture I got up in the book of Sirach or Ecclesiasticus, and I'm gonna start here. It's Sirach 39, chapter 39, verse 1. It says, "But he that giveth his mind to the law of the Most High, and is occupied in the meditation thereof, will seek out the wisdom of all the ancient, and be occupied in prophecies." Right, and that's how you should be in this truth, being occupied in prophecies, constantly watching and looking daily for the things that were told in the scriptures to come to pass, to see whether or not they're coming to pass in the earth. And like I said, one of those prophecies um, were the different wars and protests and riots among the people. Now, uh, let's see, what you got is let's see, I got a couple articles up, but what I want to do is let's see where I want to start. Uh, right here, okay, better pop up for me. Here we go. Okay. Um, Matter of fact, before I go here, I'm trying to set this up for you, brothers. I got a scripture I want to bring out. This is who's running? Here we go. In the book of Proverbs, chapter 29, verse 2, it says, "When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, but when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn." All right, and what this scripture is basically explaining is when you have the righteous people on the earth ruling the planet Earth, which they're not ruling, okay, and those are the 12 tribes of Israel, us so-called black Hispanics and Native Americans. We're the righteous, but we're not in authority right now. But if we were, the people will rejoice, pursuant to the whole world being subject to the laws and statutes, commandments and judgments of Yahweh Basham Yahweh Shai. It then goes on to say, "But when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn." And if you look around the earth today, like I said, you got different wars going on. You got different protests, riots, different political movements and changes going on throughout the earth. All right, and people are mourning. You got the global economy um, plunging into the pit. You got the American economy plunging into the pit. You got this whole society unraveling every millisecond that we're living in this world today. Okay, and the people mourn, as the scriptures say, because the wicked are bearing rule, and the wicked, all right, as opposed to the righteous, the wicked are the Edomites, Esau, which is known today as the so-called white man. The wicked is bearing rule. Okay, so it says when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. All right. So what I got up here is it's from foreignpolicy.com, and I'm I'm going to read this here, this sentence. It says, "This is what data from a world in turmoil looks like." Um, it says the global database of events, language, and tone tracks news reports and codes them for 58 fields for when an incident took place to what sort of event it was. These maps look at protests, violence, and changes in military and police posture to ethnic and religious affiliations, among other categories. And what we're looking at here is basically this right here as a global map. But as I'm getting ready to show you, this is going to show you within the past 30 or 40 years or so um, how protests, riots, and uprisings and insurrections have erupted over the world globally. Okay, and 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 before I show that, okay, before I specifically show this, I'm gonna get a scripture in the book of Luke, and this is what Yahweh Shai said about these things happen on the earth. This is Luke chapter 12, verse 49. It says, "I am come to send fire on the earth, and what will I if it be already kindled?" So the Lord Himself is coming to send fire on the earth. And what will I if it be already kindled? When you think about protests and riots and things going on in the world today, okay, um, you think about Molotov cocktails riot, being thrown, riot police everywhere, right? Um, you got this thing going on in Nigeria right now. It says demand for return of hundreds of abducted schoolgirls in Nigeria mounts, right? Because what's going on here is you have people rioting all over the planet, and then you got these different protests globally erupting now as I speak about these girls being kidnapped in Nigeria. All right. It says outcry from angry Nigerians. In Nigeria, angry citizens contend authorities are not doing enough. They took to social media using hashtags bring back our girls and bring back our daughters to demand more from the government, a move that appears to have ignited a global call for action. Despite the recent public outcries, the Nigeria's defense ministry said it is committed to the search. Even so, protesters have said enough, not enough is being done. And basically, you got online protest movements and you got physical protest movements rising up over this thing in Nigeria. Okay, and that's part of the fire being kindled in the earth. So back to this this map here. I'm gonna show you just how close we are to the end of this white man's society. Okay, and basically what this map is going to show, all right, it's an interactive map that is going to show within the past 30 to 40 years the escalation of fire being kindled in the earth, riots and protests, and how they've escalated to a massive point in history. Okay, all right. So I'm gonna play it here, and I'm just gonna let you brothers watch. All right. Now this is scrolling through the years. It's kind of rapid, but just watch the dots. Okay. All these are different protests erupting worldwide. It's going into the 80s. All right, going to the 90s. And just to say this, brothers, if you watch the dots closely, all the way up into the 90s, the separate um, eruptions of uprising and protests is constantly increasing. All right, just pay attention to that. On to the 2000s, and you can see the protest is exploding. But just watch, it's gonna get even more exciting. Mm. After '08, so-called global recession. So as you can see, man, the fire is being kindled. The fire is being kindled already on the earth. All right, so that was it. Um, all right, so basically between okay, you got 1978 or 79. Let me go back some. Right, you got a couple riots here and there to no riots, right? But fast forward over the past 30, 40 years to to says October 2013. These are all the different protests and riots that have that are going on in the world today and are continually to go on. Okay, and I was just showing you brothers that to show you just how, like the scriptures say, um, this white man society is gonna fall or go 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 into perdition, and things are going to escalate as a woman with travail, because first the birth pains were low, but now as you can see, the contractions are getting closer and closer and closer. Okay, closer and closer and closer. Um, so I got another scripture, all right, to back that up. This is Matthew chapter 24, verse 7. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, right? And there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginning of sorrow. So you can see you got different nations and kingdoms rising up and different people rising up over the decades. Okay, so let me jump down to verse 21. It says, "For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be." And that's the time we come into, the time of Jacob's trouble, and the time of great insurrections and protests erupting on the earth. All right. Fact. Scripture. Another scripture. All right. Because these riots, these protests erupting globally, that's all in line with the prophecies, um, with before Yahweh Shai comes back. All right, here we go. This is Isaiah 22:5. For it is a day of trouble, and of treading down, and of perplexity, by the Lord power of hosts, in the valley of vision, breaking down the walls, and of crying to the mountains. All right. Now this is the main scripture I wanted, Luke 21:25. All right. Luke 21:25. And there shall be signs in the sun and in the moon and in the stars. All right. We recently had a blood moon, um, last month, April 15th. It says, "And upon the earth distress of nations, with perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring, men's hearts filling them for fear and for looking after those things which are coming on the earth, for the powers of heaven shall be shaken. And then shall they see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and great glory. And when these things begin to come to pass, then look up and lift up your heads, for your redemption, the redemption of Israel, the true Israelites, draweth nigh." Okay? So looking at these different protests and riots erupt over the planet within the last 30 to 40 years, Yahweh Shai is getting ready to come back. All right? And it's constantly growing. It's constantly growing. It's constantly increasing. All right? It's constantly getting closer to that time period. All right? So I got, here we go, a list of ongoing protests from Wikipedia. Okay? It says, now you got the protests against the war in Afghanistan, 2001 to present. 2008 2014, you got Irish protests. um, and you brothers can go to this article, and basically all of these are the different protests just within the last 10 years. Okay, the whole Occupy movement 2011, which is gone global, of course, through the bankers. All right, and then all the way up until 2013. Okay, you got the 2014 unrest in Bosnia and Herzegovina, the 2014 Venezuelan protests, right? Which even right, like with the past 24 to 48 hours, they're throwing Molotov cocktails and protesting against the government and the police down there in Venezuela now. That was on Reuters. Okay. Um, Now this is the Sunflower Student Movement, 2014 in Taiwan, and this got South America. So it's all over the world: Southeastern Europe, Asia, Europe, North America, Asia, Europe, North America. Okay. Um, we got the list of ongoing armed conflicts, and this is the same type of thing. Okay. Um, and you got 1978, 91, 98, but as you can see within the last, I said 10, the last 15 years, because it's 2014, 2000 to 2014, around 15 years, you got all these different wars and things erupting on the earth as well. Okay, and I'm just gonna scroll down, right, all the way up until 2014, the pro-Russian unrest in the Ukraine. Okay, and here on the side you got the different list of casualties and different people that have died since the protests. And these are approximate numbers that are so-called official numbers, but it's constantly increasing every day. All right. And there's new protests that's going to erupt in the earth. Okay, there's new things that's going to erupt in the earth, man. Um, this is another article. Protest and prediction, social unrest in 2014, and this is from December 23rd, 2013. So they're predicting more protests to come on the earth. All right. Um, it says here, Ukraine. Now this is 2013, right? December 23rd, 2013. But they predicted the Ukraine, right? It's the first thing on the list. And that didn't happen until around February 2014. This whole thing with Russia and Ukraine and them annexing Crimea. Okay, so this is all a part of the plan of the elites, but it's gonna backfire through the spirit of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. It's gonna backfire upon the elites because they want to achieve a new world order, which is why they're allowing these things to happen. But it's not going to be fruitful for them. All right. So it says Ukraine, Bulgaria, Brazil, Argentina, Mexico, Tunisia, Egypt, and Turkey are all countries in which protests have erupted in the past 12 months. Even places traditionally more muted, such as Japan and Singapore, have seen demonstrators in the streets. Social inequalities and political discontent have spurred citizens to gather. Resistance can be coordinated with greater ease than ever in the age of the smartphone. It says according to Lazar Kekik from the Economist Intelligence Unit, economic distress is almost a prerequisite for protests, but it's not explained outbursts entirely. Declines in income and high unemployment are not always followed by unrest. Only when economic trouble is accompanied by other elements of vulnerability is there a high risk of instability. Such factors include wide income inequality, poor government, low levels of social provision, ethnic tensions. Like here in America, you got ethnic tensions brewing up between the so-called white man and the so-called black man. This whole thing with um, Donald Sterling, right? All right. So it says ethnic tensions and the history of unrest. America has a history of unrest. You know, of particular importance in sparking unrest in recent times appears to have been an erosion of trust in governments and institutions, a crisis of democracy. And who's the head of that? United States. It says the fate of Mohamed Morsi, Egypt's president until July, and Ali Laryed, soon to step down as Tunisia's prime minister, seem to be cases in point. But next year, which leaders will pay for their politics with their positions? Where will protests erupt next? The EIU measures the risk of social unrest in 150 countries around the world. See the table. All right, and I'm gonna pull the table up for you brothers to see. Try to get as clear and visually possible, so like it kind of grew big. All right, so you got countries with very low risk all the way up into very high risk. Okay, and the Ukraine right here, if brothers can see it, is part of the high risk, all the way the up until the very high risk. So all these were countries that were predicted to have from a very low to very high risk of uprising and protesting all over the world. The United States here in the blue is at low risk, but eventually it's going to escalate to high risk as this place continually to erodes. All right, physically, spiritually, economically. Okay, and that's what the world is waiting for. When Babylon, which is the United States or America, goes down, the rest of these people, the rest of this global world under the white man will eventually fall and go into perdition. Okay, so back to the article where it says the EIU measures the risk of social unrest in 150 countries around the world. It places a heavy emphasis on institutional and political weaknesses. According to its ratings, 65 countries, 43% of the 150, which is damn near half, will be at a high or very high risk of social unrest in 2014. Compared with 5 years ago, 19 more countries are now in the high risk category. So, what's going to happen within the next 2 or 3 to 5 years if we're here? The whole world's going to be in chaos, you know? It says the Middle East and North Africa, Southern Europe, and the Balkans will be particularly vulnerable. All right. I believe the Ukraine is a part of Southern Europe, if not, I know it's towards the east, Eastern Europe. All right. Which it wants to be a part of at one point, and when it was supposed to be a part of the EU or NATO, I believe, until Russia annexed Crimea. But it says these predictions are not infallible, however, Cassandra notes. Thailand was identified as only being at medium risk, but in recent days, protesters have surrounded the house of the beleaguered Prime Minister Yingluck Shinawatra. So things can go from a certain risk level to a higher risk level within days, man. It says demonstrations started in November after a controversial amnesty bill passed Thailand's lower house. All right. So this is from Cassandra the Ward in 2014. Social unrest in 2014. Protesting predictions, and that's all prophecy. That's all scripture. That's all according to what Yahweh Shai said was going to happen before he comes back. So this is Second Esdras chapter 15, and I'm going to start at verse 14. It says, "Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power." And that's happening every day as we speak. Okay, every day as we speak, that's happening. Okay, and that's basically it, man. You got different protests erupting worldwide, all over the world, man, continually every day. All right, and that's prophecy according to what Yahweh Shai said. All right, so I'm gonna read this in Luke again. It says Luke 21:25, and there shall be signs in the sun and in the moon and in the stars and upon the earth distress of nations with perplexity. Perplexity. Matter of fact, let me look up perplexity. Okay, which basically it means trouble, strife, and contention. But let's see what we can get from it. Um, Perplexity in the Greek, aporia, which means the state of one who is in perplexity. From the same as, let's go to the root real quick. Uh, to be without resources, to be in straits, to be without resources, to be in straits, to be left wanting, to be embarrassed, to be in doubt, not to know which way to turn, to be at a loss with oneself, be in doubt, not to know how to decide or what to do, to be perplexed. And that's what's going on worldwide, man, because you got these different economies all over the world failing, right? Matter of fact, like in that article said, um, that article said this. If I can get it real quick, it says, it says such factors. Well, it says only when economic trouble is accompanied by other elements of vulnerability is there a high risk of instability. Such factors include wide income inequality, poor government, low levels of social provision, ethnic tensions, and a history of unrest. And that goes along with this word here. Okay, to be at a loss, to be without resources, to be in straits. That's the perplexity that these nations are in. They're in economic turmoil. Their resources are being taken away, especially in the Middle East, as America continues to bomb Afghanistan and these other countries to take away their resources. So they're rioting, man. They're protesting, man, because the world is mourning, and the wicked, which is the so-called white man, is bearing rule. Okay. Um. All right. So to continue on, it says, "And there shall be signs in the sun and in the moon, and in the stars, and upon the earth distress of nations with perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring, men's hearts filling them for fear. That's the perplexity, being in doubt, not knowing what's going to happen, right? And for looking after those things which are coming on the earth. For the powers of heaven shall be shaken, and then shall they see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and great glory. So as these things continue to escalate, these riots and insurrections, Yahweh Shai is he's going to show up, man. Okay, in the midst of all of it. Okay, to save the elect of Israel. And it says that when these things begin to come to pass, then look up, look for the signs in the sky, look for chariot sightings. Okay, and lift up your heads, look to the scriptures. All right, for your redemption draweth nigh. It says, and he spake to them a parable. Behold the fig tree and all the trees. When they now shoot forth, ye see and know of your own selves that summer is now nigh at hand. So likewise ye, when ye see these things come to pass, know ye that the kingdom of the Most High is nigh at hand. All right, so we gotta look for the signs, man. And part of those signs is the different protests erupting in the earth today. And I'm gonna end it there. Um, just to show you brothers and elect sisters out there too, that the signs and prophecies are coming to pass. Um, Yahweh Shai is getting ready to come back. We're watching as brothers, as men, as teachers, as prophets. We're watching as the watchmen of Israel, and we're looking for these prophecies to come to pass, as all men of the Lord should do. So with that, I'm gonna give all praises and glory to Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Um, the water. I'm gonna say Barakathum to the late brothers out there and the sisters. Double honor to the elders, and peace and blessings and shalom to you elect Israelites out there. All right, shalom.